Hey everyone, welcome back. Recently, Ubuntu 26.04 LTS came out using kernel 7.0 and GNOME, latest version of GNOME, and I wanted to try Star Citizen out in the new Ubuntu, and but also I wanted to pit it against Windows, Nobara, and CachyOS, and find out once and for all which one really is the better operating system for Star Citizen. Now, before I get into the charts, I want you to comment down below which one you think is going to do the best. Is it going to be Windows? Is it going to be Ubuntu? Is it going to be Nobaro or CachyOS? Uh, no cheating, but we'll get to the charts here in just a minute. A couple of caveats. I did not want to test Windows 11. There's no way that I wanted Windows 11 anywhere on my network. That malware, spyware is not going to get on any of my systems. So I did my typical Windows 10 install, and of course, with the latest chipset drivers as well as uh, GPU drivers. And for my system is a 9800X 3D as well as a 7900X TX. And so currently you can see here, this is CachyOS. So I'm filming this on CachyOS, but all of them were done. The testing was done on their operating systems. And what I did is I did 4 runs of my Daymar runs. So starting out at Ambitious Dream, which is Crew L1, and flying to Daymar, and specifically an outpost, and jumping into the medbed there, and then flying back. And if I jumped into a server that was obviously poor performing server, you can see as soon as you get in, you can see if the server is bad. And so, but I logged into 4 different servers and then took the averages for each one. So, uh, 2604 I did not include in the charts for Ubuntu 2604. And the reason is the performance seemed pretty good, right in line with Nobara. However, every 25 to 40 seconds, there was going to be a huge spike in stutter and like a hitching. So it would last for, about 1 to 2 seconds. And it was in gaming and it was also in desktop. So if you're watching a YouTube video, you would get that same 1 to 2 second hitch where everything would stop. And so I believe it was due to the kernel in 2604, but as soon as they update it with the next kernel, which is 7.0.1, I believe, or something like that, I believe fixes that. And the other Linux installations use that latest kernel, and I didn't experience those on any of the other Linux installations. So I didn't even include 2604. And then for Nobaro, I chose the official. The official is the KDE Plasma Desktop. And I wanted to choose the KDE Plasma Desktop for Nobaro because I've heard and read a lot that the KDE performs better than GNOME. GNOME, and yes, but that is how you pronounce it. It is GNOME. GNOME is my favorite desktop environment. And so when I did CachyOS, you can choose when you do the install which version you want, whether you want KDE Plasma or GNOME. I ended up choosing GNOME, so that's what we are on here right now. And so without further ado, let's go straight into the charts and see which one is going to be better. So here we have DirectX 11 and Vulkan on the right. And for DirectX 11, for Windows 10, we got an average of 128-ish. Our 1% lows on about 22, and then our 0.1% lows all the way down at 2.5. In Nobara, we got 142.3, and for the 1% or for the 1% lows, we got about 67, and then for the 0.1% lows, we got 12 and a half. For CachyOS, hands down the winner between everything. DirectX 11, we got 173.6, and we got 92 for the 1% lows, and a little over 25 for the 0.1% lows. Reaching over to Vulkan, Windows, yeah, 94 and 1% lows, 36.5. And then for the 0.1% lows, 3.8, a pathetic 3.84. Go to Nobara, we get 132 and 69, 9.3. And then CachyOS on the Vulkan, once again, just coming in clutch, 150.4, 88.6, and 26.2. It looks like on paper here, I mean, obviously CachyOS is the clear winner, and but it looks like DirectX 11 is the clear winner on CachyOS, and again among all of them. However, subjectively playing the game, the frame time pacing just seemed more consistent and more even keel on Vulkan CachyOS than anything. So I would probably be running Vulkan under CachyOS, even though my max FPS and average FPSs are lower in Vulkan. Uh, it seemed smoother, and I'm going to limit the FPS on Vulkan anyways to 144, which is my refresh on my monitor. So enabling VRR. So uh, going back between Nobara and CachyOS, I had a problem with the KDE versions of both Nobara and Cachy. The KDE version would not allow me to adjust the um, variable refresh rate. It wouldn't allow me to enable it on KDE, but on GNOME, no problem whatsoever. You can apply variable refresh rate, and it worked fantastic. Even if you don't enable VRR, GNOME Compositor, which is Mutter, I believe, you almost don't even need it in game. It is so buttery smooth, even without variable refresh rate FreeSync or G-Sync, that you just don't even need it. Now, of course, if you enable VRR, it makes it even more buttery smooth. And of course, buttery smooth compared to all of them on CachyOS. It's just hands down the best distro. So whether or not you enable VRR or you don't on GNOME, GNOME's compositor was buttery smooth. However, I couldn't do it in the KDE versions. It just didn't recognize that my monitor was FreeSync or VRR capable. So, and besides, I like GNOME better anyways. And so I installed GNOME and enabled VRR during gameplay, and it was without question the best. So there should be no doubt whatsoever why anyone would still be running Star Citizen on Windows is beyond me. I don't understand. OBS works, Discord works, controllers work, everything works, and the install is so easy. And besides, it's free. So I'll create another video here on the latest install and tweaks that I've made to GNOME. Oh, speaking of tweaks, I made 0 tweaks to the OSs other than enabling performance mode here on all the Linux distros. So normally it's set to balance, but I just enabled performance. That's the only tweaks I did. I didn't do any other tweaks that I normally do via command line, like undervolting, overvolting, etc. One of the other things too that I wanted to touch on is that with Windows, this was even having a 430 watt limit on my graphics card, whereas under Linux, the limit is defaulted to 330 watts. So even with a lower max wattage on the GPU, Linux just destroys Windows. So other than the few games that you need for multiplayer, there's just absolutely no reason whatsoever to be running Windows. Now, again, Windows 11 might be a little bit better performing than Windows 10, but again, I'm not going to install it and test it. That slop uh, malware and spyware is not coming anywhere near my network. So that's it for today. I hope you get something out of it. Please just download CachyOS, install it onto a spare drive, and install Star Citizen. It is very simple. Again, I'll create a video here in a little bit showing how to do that. So that's it for today. Stay tuned for the install and the tweaks video coming up soon, and we'll see you out there in the verse.